Around about that stage I'd probably been involved with about 670, 80 games, first team games, and I've never been involved with a match that turned out the way it did. We were obviously competing against, you know, quite a good young Hibs team at that time. They were obviously trying to keep the score down to try and secure Europe. We obviously got the goal through an actual novel, and for the remaining part of that game, Hibs sat off, and it was just Marvin passing to Kyriakos and things, and it was bizarre because no one was pressing the ball. And then I would imagine maybe about 7 or 8 minutes to go, Barry Ferguson jumped on the back of my shoulders, and he was shouting to me, "We've won this. We've won this." I remember thinking to myself, we need to switch on, because I'd been playing in playoffs over the years when false information had come down from the stand, and then it turns out to be like a dead duck. So I was more focused on actually winning the game, and then all of a sudden the noise from the Rangers fans behind the goal, and you're thinking, we've actually won this. Well, the thing about Big Alex is, having worked with him last year, you realise about how much a persona he puts out there. He's a big imposing guy, and having worked with a lot of foreigners last year, and how he's developed, he was a wee bit more rugged back then. He was a wee bit more, I would say, just kind of a couple of years into the managerial role, and he was a wee bit more forthright. He didn't have any qualms about telling you in uncertain terms. He was a wee bit more in your face. And then obviously last year working with him, he was a lot more calm and he stood back, so there was a kind of contrast. And when it came to the split with 5 games to go, with the first game we played with Celtic, I remember him calling me and he says, "I'm just going to leave you out tomorrow." I remember thinking, oh no, you know, because I was getting older, and I'm thinking this could be it. And we lost 2-0, and I always remind him that he nearly cost us the league that year. So but you know, obviously we went up to Aberdeen the following week and won, I think we won 3-1. Dado Prusso got a couple of goals, and I think Celtic had lost the day before, so the momentum had kind of switched ever so, because everyone thought the league was over at that stage. With 10 games to go, we had a psychologist come in, and it was kind of break it down to 1 game at a time. The message from Alex and George Deans, it was at the time, and the rest of the backroom staff is if we don't take care of this game, and the result goes in favour of us away, and we don't take care of the Hibs game. So we were totally focused on trying to get this 3 points, and then the rest will take care of itself. So it was, and I think that's what I'm talking about in terms of the professionalism. It wasn't getting carried away, and somebody with less experience might be thinking, you know, and detracting away for the job we had to do at Easter Road that day. So no, we were really focused, and I think that's one of the things that got us over the line. That George coming in with 10 games to go, we started breaking it down to individual games, what we had to do to get over the line. After the game, there was sort of the celebrations and things within the dressing room, and like, you know, I'm from these ends of Glasgow, we don't show a great deal of emotion. I had to get out of the dressing room, and I just sat down, put them down in my hunkers outside, and kind of broke down. It was, I was overwhelmed. It was just such a, and you said to, what does it mean to you? Because 4 months prior to getting to Rangers, I was doing an interview with Tony Gubber. And he says to me, what's your hobbies? And I say, I want to go and watch Rangers. I'm going to watch them in Europe or the European nights. That's what I had done over the years. And to find myself a year down the line and win that was just, it was ridiculous. I called my missus, and she was in Bloomingdale's, one of the big supermarkets. And I'm like a bumbling wreck on the telephone. I tried about 5 or 6 times because of the networks. I couldn't get through, and I managed to get a hold of her. And we've won the league, we've won the league. And she says, give me a minute, because she was in the department store with the music. And she goes out to the stairwell, and she sat down on the stairwell in this massive superstore. And she I should have been there, and you know, kind of saying and all this, and I'm so happy for you and all this stuff. And I can hear her speaking to someone. And she turns around, and I can hear her having a dialogue with a guy, an English guy. And as it turns out, it was Mick McCarthy and his wife Fiona. And she said, Mick saying to Linda, what's the problem? And he says, Alex just won the league with Rangers, and I went, don't say that or I'll be greeting next. And that was the thing. In the middle of New York, Mick McCarthy's ended up bumping the line, and she's telling the wee man I'm absolutely delighted for him. So it just shows you, you know, because obviously Mick's a big Celtic man, but things like that mean the world to us. I'm looking at some of these pictures and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm looking like an idiot here, but when you're caught up in that emotion, and the circumstances and things. And it's interesting because later on that night I kind of went and spent some time with some friends before I went back to the party, some people that helped me in darker days, and I spent some time with them that night, and then joined the party later on at Mr. Singh's. So I have the memories of it all, and I can't go into too much detail, but I was getting dog's abuse off a Celtic fan for about 6 weeks, and we'd shared pleasantries for about 5 weeks on a daily basis because I was dropping my kid off at nursery. And when I was driving back up with the medal around my neck the following morning, he was up to his waist in mud, and I ended up going, you can imagine what I was sharing with him, and they went, well done, wee man. So no, there's some good tales about the whole day. Well, the thing is, I think to be part of something that's, because obviously they've won the leagues and lost the leagues, Celtic and Rangers, over recent years, and we went to the wire. But I think that one stands out, but just because of the nature of it all, you know, there's the goals and that, but it's just the last couple of minutes and the manner, and anyway, it's that will live long in the memory with me as well. And as I said to you, I've got my wee medal, and that'll go to my boy when I'm ready to go.